Hello 大家好，我是Ame Gakita. Very on hello 大家好today. Alright, let's just say that, well, today is supposed to, well, continue enjoying your spicy food. Well, technically, I was supposed to stream earlier, but I was kind of like having a bit of like taking care of the cat, and then at the same time a bit of finally chat along the line, so that took a bit longer than I expected. But other than that, there is really no issue on hand, so you guys don't need to worry on in regards to the cat, because it's actually more towards like my cat needs some caring moment. So other than that, right now, I'm just going to open up the 3D model for Venison. Don't need to worry, it's just a quick one. Basically what I'm just going to do is basically just open this thing out. It's kind of like a quick one along the line. I'm not quite sure how do I add the model, but I need to like check things out. So like in the way, it is kind of like illustration, 3D illustration. 3D illustration. We got body type. You need a muscular guy. Good. We got a 3D model here. We add this guy in. Okay. Oh, hola. No, it's not my 3D model. It's for Venison. In case anyone wants to know, Venison needed a 3D model, and in a way, all I need to do is just basically show this moment, like just show this moment along the line. And I need to turn the light to the back. How do I? I know it's frustrating, don't get me wrong. I'm trying to find the cat, like the lighting issue. On this? Like this? Okay. But I want the light to turn to the back. How do I change the light to the back? Camera, lens, shadow. Shadow. Definitely need the light for the like the Venison, you need the pose, right? Just to verify on that. But you also need to see the you want to see the shape here? Just to verify, do you need the muscle or do you just need this angle? do you need the angles? You want it to be bigger. Okay. So the only issue is the lighting. How do I adjust the tab? Oh. The angle doesn't seem right. Okay, let me do a check online. Group Studio. Find the light source object and find the light source. How the only issue I'm still trying to figure out is like, how do I object, click the object, open the light source setting, go to tools property. I'm trying to like change the light issue so that you can use it as a reference. Select object. Open light source. Light source. Oh, okay. Ah! Is this better now? Like at least a shape in a way. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a screenshot of this, and then you it will be something like this, and then you don't need to like say you need to copy like trace away, but at least you use it as a baseline along the line. Is that okay? Yes. It's okay. So screenshot. I'm gonna DM you directly. Oh no, I'm gonna put on the art and cosplay side. Okay. Is it okay, ready? The light to the front. Wait. You want to go to the front? Okay. Wait, ちょっと待って。Light source. In this case, is this alright? Oh, okay. Is this better? Something like this. That's why. How about like this? Like at least the light is kind of like still on top along the line. Or do you prefer it this way? Okay, I will give you two options. Number one, and that is something like in a way like this. This is number two. One or two. More light. Number two. Okay, so number two, is this okay? Okay. I shall screenshot again. I'm going to like zoom in a bit so that you can do your shape correctly. And see whether can you see it? Go and check. Is it like you can see it? Just to verify. Like it's actually to verify though. Okay, good. And I don't want you to say that you have no idea about the shape, but at least the tone is there. The towering, all these things is there. So I don't think you need to worry about that in any case. Like at the very least, I'm like this. If you guys want to know, it's like this. Sometimes I use 3D model like this to do the shading of a character or doing a drawing of a character along the line. So there's really like no. Like there's no such thing as saying like, hey, this is like cheating along the line. Even I have to admit this in a way that there are times when that is basically like there is time when we do use 3D model as like this to draw the line, to do the drawing, even in Japan. Okay, so it's there's nothing to be ashamed about using this kind of thing for drawing though. I don't think there's any issue on the drawing about using a man. Like you guys have to understand one thing is that if I can show the drawing, I think I'm pretty sure I showed it before. I'm not sure. ちょっと待って。Let me see whether I can find one of my old drawing that I post on my real life account. I need to find. I'm not sure whether I post it or not. That's the only issue. You still have class. Don't need to worry on that end. I just need to find my account first. Okay, there is one. I need to find the art. I'm pretty sure I did post it. I'm just not sure on which account. Hey, at least you, okay, Vanessa. At least you did try it, okay? Don't you dare say that you never attempt to try your best, right? At the very least, you did try. Okay. Let me show you guys one of the drawing that I did along the line by using a 3D model. I need to find the image that I can use. Hola. I know it may look kind of sexualized, but even the sketch that I did in the past, okay, is like even using a 3D model, this was one of the baseline for me to start drawing, and this was really one of the drawing that I did back when I was back in Japan learning how to draw, okay. So I know like the drawing still kind of like still bad, but I was kind of like tracing using 3D like that I just showed you guys. So this was one of the baseline for me to use as one of the like things that I used to do the drawing, but I can't find some of my older drawing on this account, which is the reason why I need to take a look. I can't show you guys the account because it's like you guys will definitely know who I am along the line, so I need to like delete quite a few things. Like there's a few things that I can show, but there's a lot more things like enjoying my real life along the line. It's kind of like a bit no. Yeah, I can't find the image, which is kind of like sad though. Like I'm pretty sure I posted it, but I can't recall where. I can't recall. Oh, it's probably on my laptop. It's probably in my laptop. Let me see. I'm pretty sure if I take up one of my hard disks, I'm pretty sure I did save it in my hard disk. If it's in my hard disk, it'll be immediately I can show you guys. So I need to check. Is it in my hard disk? I kind of like it, like you guys will understand that I haven't really showed this. All the artwork that I did when I was back in Japan learning manga animation, okay. So even I myself is also kind of like confused on some part, okay. And I haven't even opened up this for a year or so. Yeah, but the thing is, right? The reason why even in Japan when they teach me, you have to understand one thing is that we do not use it like 1:1. We basically use the guideline. It's using the guideline on drawing that normally that is telling us like, okay, we do not need to copy it according to what they want us to do or copy along the line, but it's more towards like using as the baseline. Yeah, and we still have to do the modeling ourselves. Regardless, right? We still have to do the tailoring, no matter how and what you guys think about. So it's kind of like a moment of like, in a way, let us understand all these things. Oh, for some reason I find this. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, I can show you guys. I can finally show you guys how bad my drawing was back in the days. Like I can finally I can show you guys like the drawing was really even hard for me in a way. That I have to show, like I'm showing like this is the artwork that I did back in before I was a VTuber. Okay, hola. This is one of my official work that I did when I was in Japan. Like you guys look carefully at the hand, it's like the drawing of the hand was like crazy hard, and using the 3D model was able to let me easily trace it out accordingly. That's why when you move in accordingly, it's like, wow, at least it look not bad in a way. Yeah, the effect is that accordingly. That's why it's like when I'm doing like the modeling, right? Even the drawing of the arm, the muscle, all these things, it's like you guys can see it's like drawing itself is using a 3D model is kind of like showing the line, the emotion, all these things. It's like the drawing on the face, drawing the fire, all these things. Is like it really is like took a lot of effort and time even for me. Okay, so it's really not something that I would say that hey, you guys need to be very good on drawing, or you guys need to like do like according to what they want you to draw. Even this was actually taught by Japanese artists, okay, when I was in Japan, and even they tell me that even the drawing on this end, right, like you guys can see, it's like this kind of pose it's not easy at all. That's why it's like I'm like you can definitely see it's like the shape I still kind of like use 3D model in a way, like the posing, all these things, the shading, all these things. But at the end of the day, it's like the shading or rendering, all this is like it's not easy at all though. So I know it's kind of like you guys might be wondering, like, is using the 3D model, is it the way to go? If drawing the guideline, all these things, even like for me doing this kind of artwork, I still have to find, like, I have to model it out, and like the modeling is kind of like show it, but I have to even I myself have to do the drawing and imagination accordingly, the expression, all these things. It's like it's really not easy at that time, especially like more so like I was kind of like still learning drawing at that time. So it was kind of like a moment of like you guys have to look at all these things. It's not easy in a way, especially more so that one of the model, the very first one was my final my final final project I have to draw, and I have to admit that I almost I almost use this as my base VTuber model. if okay, if I was not using the if okay, this I have to kind of find it funny. Is that if I did not did the cat versus dog day when when I started out as a human VTuber, I have to let you guys know is that I initially started as a human VTuber. Venisan can vouch for that, but it's just that later on there was a cat day and I do I did use cat as the baseline. So it was kind of like a moment of me using cat more when initially I did consider using this as the baseline. So it's kind of like this was my final this was my final project that I initially did wanted to use this as the one of my original VTuber at the time. But I'm pretty sure I did mention that before when I started out, but this was in the end I choose not to, not saying like it's bad or whatever, it's more towards like initially I wanted to go with the persona of being like a cunning wolf, a wolf that you guys know about like the Little Red Riding Hood or the Three Little Pig. Like the wolf is always the bad person, and I was going with that persona at the time, but I just very bad at that kind of persona. Vanessa can vouch for that. Like last time I was kind of like giving people advice, giving people things to understand, things to look out for, and it became a moment of like I'm more of a mystical cat in a way. So it became a moment of like I decided to, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go, instead of going with this persona, I decided to use my the cat model that you guys know to in a way. So yes, at that time everything just aligned accordingly, and that's the reason why if you guys see the self-introduction video, why I kind of like call myself out on that end, like why I'm a cat along the line. The persona was actually kind of like created, and I can't recall I have the old model or not, but I can definitely tell you guys is that the original design of my 3D model was a human. I started as a human, and it was kind of like as time passed by, it became a moment of like, hey, I decided to go with a cat persona along, and it's really kind of like a moment of like, even I can't say is it a good thing or a bad thing. It's actually more towards like things just go accordingly to based on what I know, based on what I understand of, and even I myself can't really say like, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's more towards like, even I myself can't say too much. I do have a few stories all in Japanese. I can't show. Because the first one is my name in Japanese, so I can't show you guys. But I can show you guys this part, like this, and this is like page 1. This is page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Like I did quite a lot, okay? Like I did quite a lot of like writing in Japanese light novel, and it's kind of like funny that I write all this and I actually post it. Give the Japanese sensei to check on the result of this thing. I also kind of like post them out on Japanese site, and it was kind of like funny that there are some who like it because it's kind of like interesting in a way, and that lead me to do a bit of Japanese light novel, which I did, and I can't show you guys the name because it's I actually used my real name at the time. I didn't think about using a pen name. If I knew I should actually go with Ame Gakita, but at the time I go with my real name because it's kind of like something that I was kind of, at that time I wasn't keen on writing names along the line, and the name Ame Gakita is really a game character name. It's the IGM that I use, and I never changed to a name. That's why it's like last time you guys have to understand why I decided to ask you guys like, so I change my name, so I make it like, it's kind of like a rebranding in a way, but at the same time most of you guys still prefer to call me Ame, so I'm still thinking of like, so I changed the name along the line. But if you guys still prefer that one, I can't really say anything else. So it's really kind of like a moment of, even if some of the things I can try to change for the better along the line. Yeah, like even for me who live in Japan for 6 years, so there is a lot of things that I can show, and some I'm not sure whether I still have some of the things I can show or not though. I don't. Do I have those ones? It's not in this one. I'm trying to I'm not able to do whatsoever. It's more towards like, it's some of the things that sometimes I just don't think too much along the line. So can't really say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing though. It's kind of like my behavior in a way. Like I can't show you guys some of the stuff because it's really very yabai. That's why I need to like look through it carefully, and yeah, I think at least I show you guys the art. Like I did show you guys the drawing already, so at least now I can take it out in a good way. like Vanessa, at least now you know what kind of things I used to do. like at least you guys know the way I did drawing for when I was in Japan. Okay, like I don't want you guys to come and tell me like, hey, is the drawing good or is the drawing bad? Even back then, that kind of drawing was considered good when I was learning, and it's not easy though. But the thing is, right, at least right, using 3D model is still the way to go. I'm not saying like it's bad. You have or you have to use everything according to what you want. But it's kind of like drawing the guideline, understanding what you are drawing, understanding what you are going for. Is still like the way that you can go for. At least you do not need to worry too much. Like, hey, is the drawing good or is the drawing bad along the line? Like, even I myself, when I was in Japan, like the funny thing is, right, even Japan, from my understanding from one of my friends who is working in anime studio, she told me that even now they are also considering using AI. Not really like using AI 100%, but it's more towards like using AI to do a little bit of quick tailoring, quick editing in some way to make the drawing look more sharper, to make the drawing more easier, or even in some cases make the drawing come out faster along the line. Because it's like you don't need to use everything AI, don't get me wrong, but it's more towards using it as an assistant to make animation get released faster, that to the point that you can actually say that, hey, you guys don't need to worry about when is the next work coming out, or when is the thing is the anime going to be alright along the line. Like a lot of things really take time to do or edit or whatever along the line, and all those things is really kind of like take time and effort or even moment to verify along the line. Yeah, because you have to understand one thing, okay? Like when it come to drawing for an animation, there is the director who need to draw the baseline. So basically, I think it's more easier if I show you guys an idea on how anime work. Okay, so basically, okay, this is just only the baseline. Not saying like you guys have to take it accordingly to what I'm going to show you guys. So just take it with an idea. So basically, what normally Not this. Where is it again? I'm trying to open things up, but for some reason, okay, found it. So basically, okay, animation, when creating animation, right, they always have this kind of baseline where I think you guys might actually come across like this kind of like storyboard along the line. Like when you come across animation, why do they have this kind of like moment of what is the job of the director? So basically what they have to do, right, is that they have to go through with a start, which is basically animation discussion. So basically animate storyline, which is basically in Japanese. So what it actually means is actually more towards like in Japan. So in a case, maybe I have to use Japanese translation to do a search. Anime 是 story 是 line So basically, right, there is always a discussion. I know it's kind of like in Japanese, so bear with it. So in Japanese, when they do the storyline, all these things, they always have something like this, a board on how the story should be like in a way. So what it actually means is that when it comes to like when we want to draw a storyline, we need to have like the start. We have to have a discussion. We have to understand what the things that is happening, that what is the thing that we have to go through, and then in a way that is like exhibition 1, exposition 2, is kind of like the curve, the first curve. That first curve is always the important, a very important one, is to make people realize that, hey, what is the purpose of the story about? Which is the reason why if you guys see a lot of animation, why is it like a lot of them always have line on like what is the story, what is it at the start in a way? Because if the story is not discussed properly, then obviously it will be kind of like became not interesting, not kind of like in the way that people will expect it to be. So this is the reason why like when it comes to story life, we always have to come up with like how and what is the thing to go. And like for example, like in manga, in light novel, like we have to read through what is the first base and what is the line to go in the interesting way along the line. And it's really kind of like we need to understand that point, because if we can't find it, then that will become a problem on like, hey, what is the story that we're going for? Which is the reason why if you guys notice like why is it that a lot of Japanese anime always start out with like a very interesting start at the go, is that is the way that it has been kind of like being put off. Because if you don't have a good start, then people will be kind of like be disappointed along the line. Imagine if you put a boring end, like if let's say for example if you put a boring ending, but if your start is interesting, people will still end up reading to the end. But if you put a boring start but you put an interesting ending, no one is going to give you a read. Why? Because people is already kind of like being put off at the start. So it's kind of like a moment of like you have to have a very good interesting moment, and then after that you have to have like plot twists or things that take note, and then that's kind of like when the curve really go down. And how are you going to like win back along the line, and that you see the curve along the line, and that is when the story became a moment of like why people want it, and that is the discussion. So when it comes to story writing for animation, it's always a lot of people need to understand is that discussion, if it's like a manga or if it's a light novel, they have to get the creator themselves to be involved in it, because if they are uninvolved, they are the anime director, they might not be aware. And a lot of people need to understand is that when it came to animate story writing, they do not really say that, hey, the creator must be the one doing the drawing, or they have to be the one to write the whole damn story. Instead, there is also another thing, which is basically write story. What was the translation for writer? Oh. So story writer, normally there is actually a person called animate story writer, and they are always there. They're always there. So basically what they normally do is actually they do this kind of the writing of the script. They write the script for basically you have to understand one thing is that they write the script is meant for the voice actor to voice it, but at the same time it's also kind of like pinpointing the storyline. So for example, earlier that I showed you guys the line, right, the story in a way is that if we come across those kind of like storyline, all these things, we have to like see like which line do we want to add in, which line we want to add out, and it's kind of like a moment of the story writer, not the creator themselves, but the writer to kind of like discuss with the manga creator or the light novel creator on what they want to go with and what kind of interaction they want the anime to show. This is the reason why some manga like why anime line is very different from manga or the light novel in a way. It's because the story writer the story writer for the anime have to go through. They have to discuss with the story in a way, and then see what kind of line is interesting, what is the line that is going through, and that is the second part of the story that they have to go through, which the anime director had to be involved. They have to understand that. So this is a job for story writer in anime studio, and then after that the director themselves have to do something like this. They have to draw the things out. If they are very good at drawing, good. If they can't draw, does not matter, because the thing is, right, the story drawing is always a sketch in a way, but most of the time the director nowadays more than how to draw, so that's kind of like became the requirement in a way. But from my understanding from animation creation, a lot of directors do not know how to draw, so this is only just one baseline. But you guys can understand it's mostly like drawing a stick man, and then drawing what kind of pose. So it's kind of like a moment of like they have to draw this. So it's kind of like the storyline after discussion, all these things. Then after the writing the storyline, all these things, the director have to wait for the writer to write all these things, because the director will then have to copy paste some of the line into over here. Like you guys can see some of the line here, there, everywhere. It's actually the line on the second part. That is when the storyline, what they want the character to speak, or what kind of things they want to go through about, more on what they want the people who are going to draw the anime out later, which is the job of the animator, the right drawing themselves. So when they start drawing, it's like the director have to do this. This is the third part of the job they have to do. So if this is not done, it will become a problem. So they have to draw this, and it's then after that we have to leave it to animate Then after that we'll leave to the one who start drawing the animation. So for example, like in this case, like when we start drawing, like you have to understand just now as I should, like when we start drawing all these things, we have to have again we have to have this part out. we have to have this part out. So it's like this animation, then the storyline, and then the storyline in the way after that, we will kind of like understand, okay, what kind of animation we have to draw. And that is when the animator have to use their imagination, because if their imagination is not good, it will be a problem. So it's like they have to draw one to the pose, and then after that, that is when you can see it's like there is white pose, right? The black pose is then drawn by the same creator, the same drawer, or sometimes they post it to other people to help drawing that kind of thing. So it became a moment of everything is drawn, and it's kind of like a moment of understanding on what we need to draw. And that is when the pose, like the animation, all these things has to be kind of understanding. So it's kind of like a moment of like what kind of pose we have to draw. And the middle one, the red man, if you guys can see here, is when the artwork is tend to be drawn in a way. It's also another reason why some people always wondering, right, why are there some funny drawing in between animation? It's because they are not drawn by the main cast or the best cast, but it's actually drawn by other people who kind of like just sometimes skip the adjustment, and because it's animation and they don't earn much along the line, so they kind of like just give the baseline, give the drawing back, and then after that the drawing, they only draw lines, okay, they are not tiring, okay. Then after that, after everything is done, all the thing is done, then they have to give like, okay, what is the animation that the people can do. So they have to start imagining, even from open eyes to closed eyes, or closed eyes to open eyes, along the line. Like you have to imagine what kind of animation all these things do. You have to draw every single part out. So once that is drawn, that is when they have to give it to the taller, and yes, they are called the taller, who give the tiring. So normally that is when they have to add in taller to the character, make it rendering to make the character look all these things along the line. And often more than not, the taller one is kind of like hard in a way, because you have to make sure that the taller is according to what they are supposed to look like. The rendering have to look according to, based on what it's supposed to be like. And when that actually happens, you kind of like take a lot of effort and time to do the drawing along, and it always end up taking a lot of time. So it's kind of like a moment that you guys want to understand that this kind of thing always take effort and time. And by the time everything is done, that is when we finally give it back to the director. Everything gives it back to the director, who then need to get the voice actor and sound effect into the anime now. And then often more than not, voice actor, we don't need to say it too much, it's just the character voicing the character out. But I don't want to talk too much on that end. So it's more towards like they have to give it to that character, give the voice actor what kind of character would be like, what is the thing the director have to explain to them, what is the discussion, all this thing. And once everything start, the voice actor have to voice according to, based on the timing, based on the line, based on the effort, based on every single thing. And that is the reason why voice acting is really kind of like being a moment of people always giving the best effort, because they want it to be alive in a way, because they have to make it seems like it's alive. And when everything kind of like go according to plan, the final view will kind of give it to the director again to view it once before they can give it to the TV studio to finally put out on television for millions to watch it. So of all this really take a lot of time and effort. And as you mentioned, like, about inconsistent tiring, okay, it's kind of like a moment of like, there is the reason why, like I mentioned, like if they can use AI to make sure that talent is matched accordingly, then obviously they won't mind using AI, even if it's AI is kind of like bad in some case. But if they can use AI to make things easier, to make things better, to make things according to what they want along the line, then even I myself will even agree that using AI as an assistant would be a way to go. So all these things really does take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but it's always about the moment of how they managed to put all the effort into doing the drawing, into the understanding all these things, and it always ends up taking a lot of time, a lot of effort, and this is one of the reasons why they are like, if you guys want to know, like when they announce the anime, right, why is it always like they announce the anime like 1 year or maybe like few months later along the line, and it's often more than not they have, like normally, okay, they take around like 1 year to do one animation. It always take around the effort. Like in the past longer because of computering wasn't a thing, or drawing, they have to draw everything by paper, tiring by paper. So now everything is digital, so it can be done faster. But even that, right, if they want to release more anime to the whole world, to see more anime, to see more consistent of work along the line, then another thing they realized is now using AI as a way to improve drawing faster. That became a moment of like why people prefer to do drawing as fast as possible, to put things out along the line. And it always, again, it's always back to the Japanese belief using AI is the way to go, or is it kind of like bad thing to go along the line? And to me, I can't really say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing. It's more towards like if people can use it as a mean to improve on drawing and make things life easier along the line, then even I myself would say that, hey, maybe using AI may not be so damn bad. But again, at the end of the day, as I mentioned, it's always back to how do we think, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's kind of like, if you use it for good, I think it's good. But if it's used for bad, then even I myself won't actually say it's a good thing along the line. So anyway, that's explained a lot. Okay, I know it's kind of like a lot of explanation, but that is how anime is being made along the line. Especially more, I kind of like simplified it in a way. Okay, so at least I don't think you need to worry too much. So even if you guys say that, if the like, even like when it's on your drawing, you say like, hey, it's look way better already though. Even your drawing, like even your drawing the Paimon is really really good. Okay, I give you the baseline and you use the baseline to draw, which is a good thing. I don't want you to complain to me that you didn't use the baseline. I think it's good. It's thanks to the 3D that you're able to draw the baseline. Okay, from my understanding, right, my friend, she did explain to me that they still have to use, not saying like 100% AI, they still have to do the drawing themselves. They still have to do the drawing themselves, but it's more towards like using AI to kind of like cut time on doing the drawings for some part, and if the part can be used, they will use it. But if they can't use it, then obviously they will just not think too much about it. It's kind of like if AI can, if let's say for example a tiring can take 1 hour to do drawing, right, to do the tiring, if you can use AI to cut the time by 90%, let's say you can do the drawing in 5-10 minutes along the line, then obviously you even I will say that, hey, maybe tiring might be the better way to go along the line, you know what I mean? So it's actually more towards like drawing for animation. More like, I know some people complain about all this thing, and like even the One Punch Man, I know a lot of people complaining about that, because is it AI or is it that just cheating along the line? It's to me, when I saw it, the first thing is that because obviously I understand anime, I studied anime in Japan already, so I know it takes a lot of effort, and I actually seen some of the animator who actually complain about the people who complain about their animation. And I understand a lot of people saying like, hey, maybe they are just not putting in enough effort in a way, which I understand the viewer's point. But when it came to the one who doing the animation, the drawing, they obviously they have to understand, a lot of people need to understand is that the effort putting into the creation of the One Punch Man latest episode was not there. It's just that they might be busy, there may be kind of like something cock out in between, there may be some internal issue along the line, which to me, when I look at it in a way, I know it might not sound good, but it's actually that's how it seems to me. So at the end of the day, I know that I know that in a way it might not look good. Maybe it's kind of like, is it AI or is it they are cutting corner along the line? But when you kind of like when you learn anime, when you understand the scope, the understanding of creation of animation, all these things, I know people complain because of many standard good drawing, good animation, all these things. I understand their point of view, but I also understand the hardship of an animator now. So the problem is that a lot of people need to understand is creating an animate always take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's not something that I can say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing. It's more towards like, can we give them the time and effort to understand that this may not be as what we're hoping for, or maybe it's just things accordingly that even I can't say is it a good thing or bad thing along the line though. So at the end of the day, it's really one of the things that we have to be extremely careful, hoping that things that will go in a way that we do not need to worry about. It's always like a lot, like it's always like a lot of effort that we have to put it in, a lot of things that we have to ensure that things go according to what we want. But at the end of the day, it's really something that a lot of things we always have to put in a lot of time and effort for things to go through accordingly, things to go in the way that we want along the line. And if that is not the case, right, it might end up kind of like end up being like a lot of things just taking a lot of effort or time, all these things, and we might not end up having what we want in the first place though. So it's really kind of like we just want things to go according to what we want, but at the same time it's always take time. It's always the time and effort in a way though. So at least that's how I look at it though. Yeah, that's the thing is, right, not everyone think it that way. Not that's the issue. Not everyone think it that way. That's why I can't really say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing. Yeah, Pilson, animator, right, can actually like they when they OT is basically they can draw for 2-3 days in the same studio. If they need to sleep, they never go home. They legit okay. I can actually prove it is really like if people see like a lot of like old news about why some anime studio kind of like always kind of like being called out as a black company, all this thing, because a lot of animator aren't paid according a lot of money, and they also kind of like they really like work 3 days not returning home. They basically stay in the anime studio 3 whole days. They never sleep, they never do whatsoever, they just keep drawing and drawing and drawing without stopping. And yes, if the viewers complain, they get fired. And then the question would be like, even if they release a lot of good animation in the past, they can't say that hey they can do this anymore because no one like it anymore. And when that happens, they lose their motivation to do the drawing. It's frustrating, but that's how the word goes though. And you guys have to understand one thing. I was staying in Kyoto. So when the Kyoto animation studio got onto fire, I was near there. I understand how bad it was at the time. I was in Kyoto. I know it happened near to where I was staying, in a way, as well as that. There was quite a other anime studio, so-called indie anime studio, that is also near where I stay. That when I applied to work in anime studio back then when I was in Japan, I applied it's not just one anime studio. I applied not just to Kyoto Animation. I applied to 46 anime studio from where I stay. And some of them is just basically like so-called freelance or indie. I applied to 46 animes in a lot of studio where I stay. I didn't apply to Tokyo one, I only applied in Kyoto one. Because you guys have to understand one thing. Anime studio, sometimes they don't do the work themselves. They sometimes throw it to indie one. And for me, I have to get into one of them to do the animation work. But at the time, as you guys know, I kind of like in the end couldn't get in, especially it was COVID period at the time. So there wasn't kind of like keen into hiring foreigner at the time. So I didn't get in and then returned away from Japan along the line. So it's kind of like sad, but it's even more frustrating is that you guys have to understand is that when I return, then they want to hire me, but I was already no longer in Japan. And the visa at the time, like it was a problem because when I leave Japan, when I leave Japan, applying for a visa again, it's gonna take a long period of time. So they drop it, I drop it, and it's really kind of like I can't say anything because it's kind of like the COVID really did affect me. Not saying like it hit me, but it's more towards like it affect me, me trying to find a job when I graduated from the school at the time. And I can't really complain about that because especially more like you guys have to understand that Japan was really in a very bad shutdown at the time. So and it's also kind of interesting that when it happened, you guys have to understand that I think I did tell Vanessa when I talked in a live stream at the time that the reason why when I decided to do VTubing is because it's kind of like funny. When I went to Japan in 2017, it was kind of like the starting of VTubing. Like if you guys go and check like Kitsune Eyes, all the others, like they all say like 2017, 2018. It's really the moment when I start living in Japan that VTubing was slowly on the path. But it was kind of, it wasn't a thing on like blown out in a way, and it was kind of like funny in a way that my first year, I think like I can kind of like just prove. Like I don't think I need to like say too much on my end. It's kind of like I just go to this point and I just go to here. If I want to showcase, I just need to show this part. All I need to do is just show. So basically, my very first live stream happened in 6 years ago, but it's actually more towards like if we just look at the date itself, if we can look at the date, maybe I can show from here. Adjust by date. (2019) My first live stream happened in 2019. And at the time, And at the time, I was not a VTuber. I was just a streamer. So basically, if I call myself as a streamer, not as a VTuber, 2009, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 19 to 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. I have 6 years of being a streamer. I have 6 years of being a streamer, but I am still technically I'm still technically a VTuber of 4 years plus. So if we go to this part, when did I first started? It's April 2021. It's basically like you have to understand one thing is that because at that time, when I start as a streamer, we go to Japan. I was working all these things, so I only got the time to do a bit of streaming at the time. It's like my friend asked me to do a bit of streaming, so everything is done in Japanese. And when I started streaming, it was kind of like just for the fun, for the sake. I mean, like you guys can see, like sometimes I get a lot of viewers, sometimes I don't get a lot of viewers. So it's kind of like this just to showcase. ちょっと待って。Like I sometimes can get a lot of viewers, sometimes I don't get a lot of viewers. So it's kind of like mix and match along the line. And if anyone really want to know, like at the time it's also the year when Genshin 2 get released, I believe. Like I also end up streaming when Genshin first released. So it's really kind of interesting in a way that at the time I was streaming, but it's just only like when at the time I was still in school, I'm still studying all these things, I still end up streaming for the fun of it. And even so, I end up not really calling myself a VTuber because I kind of like just being called as a faceless streamer. I was kind of like a faceless streamer at the time. And when I decided to do live stream, because at the time it was also a period when COVID hit. I was studying in animation and manga in Japan at the time. So 2017 I was learning Japanese, and 2018 and 19 I was studying in for animation, drawing all these things. And after that, it was supposed to be like graduating in 2020, and can't really say uni, but it's more like diploma. I do have my the Japanese diploma. I can't show you guys. So when I started out, it was kind of like it was kind of like a moment of me decided to be a VTuber, and Vanessa knew me in a way at the time because I kind of like stopped streaming much at the time. So when I decided like if I kind of like show, like, okay, this is what I can show you guys. Like this was originally, this was really my original persona at the time. So if I show you guys this, like this was one of the original animation that I was kind of like using as being a VTuber. This was the original idea, but in the end, yeah, it was kind of like emo in a way, right? So it kind of like didn't sit well with me, and so I decided to properly start out as a streamer, as a VTuber, all this thing. And the first persona that I decided to go with, in a way, like it's more towards like my taste in a way, was this. And I think Vanny-san missed this a lot. This was the very first so-called confirmed Ame Gakita. So this was the original one, the original first avatar that I decided to use. And in the end, it worked so well for me in a way because of, like, you guys can see, like, everything it just worked accordingly. And this was a moment of when first Ame Gakita being a thing. So it was when the thing started. And it was kind of like funny in a way that as time passed, it became a moment like when I playing horror game, that is the Ice was actually one of the horror game that I play at the time because I don't like it. When it's on here, if you guys really want, go and search it up. It's called you just go to, like, let's say for example, like if you guys go to my channel, just go to orders, just click on the orders one, and you guys can just scroll up a little bit. It's one of the earliest live stream. Just scroll down a bit and you guys can see it. It's just right there. So it's really like one of the oldest model, and it was kind of like a system that I used though. That's why it's like I was using a different system called Reality, and because that one kind of like using it to do the live stream where I have to use the software to do live stream at the same time, which is kind of like bad in a way. So in the end, I kind of like stopped using that because it doesn't sit well with me in the model, and so in the end, I decided to just go with this software. Basically Vroid. So in the end, I used Vroid, and that is when the Model 2 came out. I believe it's modern. There is like Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. So the one that you guys saw, that was the version 1. The current one that you guys saw me as, the current one, if I have to showcase in the case, right? Like the one that you guys see me as in this look, like this one is actually version 3. There is a version 2, there is a version so-called 3, but I think this... wait, just about it. Now I think about it. There is a version 1. The cat was version 1. Then there is a version 2, which was released... I can't recall. Let me take a look. Let me use English keyboard. Yeah, there was a change. The one that you guys see is yeah, I did mention about the live stream, like this, like you guys can see is like I was still streaming on that one, in using that model. You guys can see it's like it's still that one, and I was doing the changes along accordingly. So like original was this one, and then after that I changed to a weird looking one because the front head was kind of like very, very bad. And after that, kind of like as time passed by, a moment of like just changing it accordingly. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you guys can check it out. I did mention accordingly to everything what I knew of along the line, and it's really one of the things that even I myself kind of like can't really say is it a good thing or is it a bad thing. It's just that creating 3D model really does take a lot of time and effort. So even I myself can't really say is it good or bad along the line. It's actually more towards like doing model, right, does take a lot of effort and time in a way. So even I myself can't really say whatsoever, especially more so is that I'm using Vroid Studio to do the edit, the model along the line. So at least that's to explain a lot to you guys now. Especially also is like this kind of thing really does take a lot of time and effort to do though. Like there's really like no like answer or whatever. Like I have to at least tell you guys that. But it's actually more towards like, do we know or understand why do some people always kind of like about, hey, they want to have 2D model. Hey, I want a 2D model, but if 3D model is the current one that I can easily make and kind of like go with, that, hey, that's the way I go though. At the end of the day, it's more towards like having a chit chat moment, having a fun moment, having an understanding moment, and in future, I'm trying to hope that I gain more viewers so that you guys can make more friends and having a discussion and sit down and have fun, and at least that's how VTubing at least supposed to be. It's just the ASMR or maybe the boyfriend girlfriend moment is kind of like something that I don't think is kind of like good in a way in a long-term relation, like long-term viewing along the line. But VTubing is kind of like just use out every single moment. Like if we can't deny that for Hololive, some of the girls who used to be very very good at doing ASMR, but because of YouTube banning, that end up having like ASMR no longer a thing on some VTuber. But even I mentioned can't complain too much, right? Even I can't really say like so I do ASMR along the line. Like I'll be saying like, who the hell want to listen to an old man doing an ASMR? But yeah, at the end of the day, right? I still believe that streaming is more towards like just having fun, creation, having a moment of like having a good moment, all these things. But at the end of the day, it's just like some people just love to have an issue. Just want to have an issue, have no idea what's the issue, but can't really say it's a good thing or bad thing though. Okay, since when your son decided to show this, I think this one I can show it to you guys. This one I can definitely show it to you guys. It's a very very old model indeed though. Because if I written this was the original one. This is one of the like the cat one that I showed earlier was kind of like one of the original one. Don't get me wrong, but if we talk about the OG when I first started as a VTuber, yeah, what Venice-san showed is actually the first, and like it was the first persona when I call myself a human along the line. I don't even know if I still have it or not though. I can't recall. I haven't streamed on reality for very long already, so I have no idea. But definitely I can say it's been very very long. I feel like definitely it has been very very long. I have no idea about that ad anymore though. But I'm actually surprised that you still have that. I'm still surprised in a way. Okay. It's really been very very long. I'm not sure whether I can if I can still if I can still show like if I can still show if I can still show, I'll definitely try to show you guys some of the trip that I have when I was still in Japan. But it's some of the image I can show, some of the image I can't show. That's the thing, though. Like a lot living in Japan really does change my life in so many ways, though. I have to admit on that. But I really want to share some of the things I come across, like some of the image. I want to like bring back some of the things to showcase, to keep it as a memory, but at the same time show you guys like some of the things I've seen while I was living in Japan, though. At least let you guys see some of the good things along the line. But as for right now, I'm still not sure. I still seriously have no idea about some of the stuff, though, so might have to see how things go, though. I shall not comment on that. I shall keep my silence. At least something okay. I can't comment too much, alright. Yeah, it's kind of like funny that when I created my own Discord at the time, is that I didn't use Discord, and I really didn't use Discord much. But I can definitely tell you guys one thing is that I still belong to. I still talk to some of my Japanese friends, especially some of the Japanese live streamer, some of them that I know from when I first started out as a VTuber, because it's kind of like they some of them really apologize for the F-Sun incident. If anyone want to know, it's really something like when a female VTuber decided to frame me for sexual harass her when it was false, and kind of like can't really comment too much on that end. But some of them apologized to me, and they didn't realize that the kind of person was just kind of that bad in a way, though. Wow, you better don't let Najisa know. you better don't let Najisa know. Yeah, it's still kind of considered funny that 2021 was like when I first debuted, and it's also a moment of like when Venisan, Neji-san, Kila-chan, Ai-chan, they all kind of like come to my live stream to chat with me, and it's really kind of like funny that all these things still ongoing, and kind of like became a moment that I still start as a VTuber. Like it's kind of like funny. Like normally when it became a moment when I returned, when I leave Japan at the time, I wanted to so-called graduate as a VTuber, but because of that, right, I decided to I'm gonna keep on going as a VTuber, and now it's 4 years plus of VTubing for me. But in terms of like live stream, it's 6 years already, over 6 years already. So it's kind of like funny, like in terms of like me as a streamer, 6 years, me as a VTuber, 4 years. I think, and that's the reason why like the persona for me as a VTuber really wasn't there, because I wasn't aware of VTubing, all these things. I know of like VTuber, but I didn't know like how it start, especially more so like VTubing need to have persona, need to have this, need to have that, and like in Japan, okay, when it first started out, a lot of people always give the impression that you need to have like you need to be entertaining, you need to be having a cool voice, you need to have a cute voice, you need to be a pretty voice, all this thing. And at the time, well, I did learn voice acting as a mean to convey in Japanese to try to gain interesting moment. But at the end of the day, I realized that it's really going against a lot of my persona in like my real life persona in a way. So I end up just kind of like giving out a lot of stuff. So I end up just being Ame Gakita, and that's how you guys know me now. But at least it worked, right? Maybe in future more and more people will come to my live stream and chit chat with me along the line, and then you guys will get to make more friends, and that will be a best way to go, right? that will be the day when we shall look forward. Anyway, it's gonna be oh my god, it's already like 11:16 p.m. on my end. Oh, I think it's also, yeah, I just realized it's gonna be 1 hour and 30 minutes of live stream in a way. It's actually 1 hour and 26 minutes. But I think this is a good moment for me to pause for the day and we all go to sleep, or maybe if you have starting the day, maybe go and have a nice day. So I think let's start it for today. Tomorrow, okay, at least I can proudly say this part out, like at least this part like at least, right, in like in upcoming, you guys can finally see like I'm having like a lot of shrimp ready out. Like you guys can see, it's basically Genshin. You know what, let me see if I can show you from this part. Live stream. Okay, so tomorrow, in case you guys want to know, it's like basically because Xenozone Zero is going to have an update on Wednesday, so I'll be streaming on Wednesday. I know the schedule is kind of like me will probably be very tired, but if it's kind of like just do a little bit just to check things out, I think I'm still able to do it at night time. It will be at night time. The schedule will be based on what you guys can see now. So now on my end, I can put out this kind of thing so that if you guys are unsure about the timing on when you guys can see my live stream, it's much better for you guys to see all these things. The actual update, yes, is updated, but I'm referring the actual day they are going to update, so it's actually this Wednesday if I'm not wrong. So we shall see how it goes first, and then Wednesday will be me playing, and it's yes, if you guys notice the thumbnail that I'm using is kind of like on purpose in a way. We shall see. It's probably not gonna be good on this Wednesday and this Thursday, but tomorrow I'm just gonna play a bit of Genshin, just to try to reach 100% for some of the map exploration. We shall see how it goes. So that being said, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys again at the next video or live stream. So with that, I hope you guys all have a nice day or night. Otsukare. Bye bye.